You ever feel like you've got so much, but something's still missing? Like, no matter what you achieve, there's this quiet hum of anxiety in the background. Well, we're going to dive into a timeless story about a man who had everything the world could possibly offer, except, a decent night's sleep.
So this really gets to the heart of the problem for our main guy, a merchant named Lu Yuan. Look at this. On the left, you see all this stuff, his incredible wealth. And on the right, all his fears. His mind is just crippled by them. This huge gap between what he has and how he feels, well, that's the real illness we're talking about.
Okay, so let's get into the first part of our story. We're in the booming capital of the Great Qi dynasty, and we're meeting a man who, by all accounts, should be the happiest guy in the entire city.
I mean, just try to wrap your head around this level of luxury. He owns the 3 hottest restaurants in town, has these massive estates, sleeps in a bed that's basically a museum piece. He even uses morning dew collected from lotus leaves as mouthwash. Yeah, you heard that right. This isn't just being rich. This is next-level extravagance. He had it all.
And yet, every single night, he'd just lie there in that priceless bed, totally awake, his mind just racing. Are my rivals going to crush me? What if the government changes the rules? What if I lose everything? He saw every doctor, tried every expensive cure, but absolutely nothing could calm his anxious mind.
So when he's at his wit's end, a wandering Taoist gives him this really mysterious piece of advice. Desperate for any kind of relief, Lu Yuan, a guy used to absolute power and comfort, decides he's actually going to do it. He's going to go find some hermit in a rundown shack. This is his call to adventure. So, Lu Yuan leaves his whole world of silk and fancy food behind. He's probably thinking he'll just show up, flash some gold, and buy a quick-fix potion from some wise old master. But, oh boy, the cure he's about to find is not something you can put a price on.
What he finds is, well, it's the complete opposite of everything he knows. There's no grandmaster, just a regular old guy in simple clothes. There's no secret potion, just a rickety little hut. And instead of taking Lu Yuan's money, the old man just invites him to stay the night. The culture shock must have been just massive.
And this is where things get really interesting. The old man completely refuses Lu Yuan's gold and tells him the cure isn't something you can just buy. It's something you have to find. And the first step, he has to spend the night right there, in that little hut he secretly looks down on.
So, as night starts to fall, the mountain decides to show its true colors. A massive storm just rolls in out of nowhere, and it's about to test not just that little hut, but Lu Yuan's entire view of the world.
You can just feel his panic, right? The wind is howling, rain is pouring in through the roof, the whole shack sounds like it's about to be ripped apart. For a guy who's used to stone manners and solid walls, this is literally his worst nightmare come to life.
And then, in the middle of all this chaos, the old man just drops this incredible piece of wisdom. He is completely calm. He's trying to show Lu Yuan that the hut's stability has nothing to do with the wooden straw. It's all about the state of mind of the person inside it.
And watching how totally unfazed this old guy is, something just clicks for Lu Yuan. He can't run. He can't control the storm. The only thing he can do is just be there and observe. And in that moment of surrender, his whole perspective starts to shift.
This is the big epiphany. It's such a powerful reminder that our perception literally creates our reality. That annoying leaky roof, suddenly it's a kind of music, a rhythm. The musty air, it becomes this earthy, natural scent. But the biggest thing is, his number one fear, losing everything and ending up in a place like this, suddenly doesn't seem so scary. He realizes, hey, if this old man can live here peacefully, maybe I could too. And just like that, the fear loses its grip.
And there it is, without his fancy bed, with no medicine, surrounded by the very thing he feared most. Lu Yuan finally gets the peace he's been chasing for so long. He sleeps like a rock.
All right, so the storm passes, the sun comes up, and Lu Yuan wakes up feeling like a new man. The air is clean, his mind is clear, and his second great lesson is about to be served for breakfast.
I mean, talk about a stark contrast. On one side, you've got the insane feasts he's used to, and on the other, probably the most basic meal imaginable, a little porridge and some salted roots. Back in the city, he wouldn't have even fed this to his dogs.
But after that night of real, deep rest, with his mind finally quiet, he just devours this simple meal. And he's genuinely blown away. The flavor is so real, so satisfying. It's better than any fancy dish he's ever had in his life. He has to know why.
And the old man's answer? It's the whole point of the story. Xing Jing Kai Gen Shang. It basically means a calm nature makes vegetable roots fragrant. See, when your mind is settled and free from all that noise, you can actually taste the goodness in the simplest things. Lu Yuan realized he hadn't been tasting food. He'd been tasting his status, his wealth. With a quiet mind, he could finally taste reality.
So, armed with this incredible new perspective, Lu Yuan gets ready to go back to his old life. But he's not the same anxious man who climbed up that mountain. He's learned that real wealth isn't what's in your vault, it's what's in your heart.
When he tries to pay the old man, he gets turned down again. The only medicine he takes home with him is a simple wooden plaque carved with the 2 lessons he learned. A peaceful heart makes a hut stable. A calm nature makes vegetable roots fragrant.
And when he gets back to the city, he actually puts this stuff into practice. He starts trusting his staff instead of micromanaging them. He takes time to just walk outside and enjoy nature. He even puts a dish called Fragrant Roots on his menu so he can share the story. And get this, when a competitor cheats him out of a huge sum of money, he just smiles. He knows the worst thing that can happen is a peaceful life in a hut, and that's not so bad anymore.
And here's the beautiful irony of it all. The second he let go of that obsessive fear of losing everything, his businesses actually became more successful and more stable than ever before. By releasing his death grip on control, he actually gained more of it.
So, if there's one thing to take away from this whole parable, it's this. We spend so much of our lives trying to build stronger roofs, right? More money, a better job, more security, anything to protect us from the storms of life. But true security, real stability, it's not external. It's an internal foundation that you build yourself with a steady, peaceful heart.
You know, this ancient story isn't really about some rich merchant from a long time ago. It's about us, right now. We all live in a world that can feel like a raging storm, full of anxiety about what's next. So the story leaves us with a question, not really an answer. It's a question to just kind of sit with, long after you're done watching this.